to always.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zoe. Cantu is on the other side. Episode 249. What a series it was for the Houston Astros, specifically those bats. The Astros offense blast 22 runs in this series. That's what we're going to title this episode. But not just talking about that, but a weekend of sports. You got NBA playoffs about to start. Masters, Rory McIlroy finally getting that Grand Slam to finalize his resume, an impressive resume, by the way, from him. But just baseball talk of Astros baseball, taking this City Connect weekend for them and getting this series against the Los Angeles Angels was a very important one.
Yeah, especially starting off that Friday game. Astros fans got a taste of what this Astros offense could be. And I want to talk about Isaac Paredes. That's why the Astros brought him over here to get those Crawford boxes, three home runs, and hit three in the game. Cam Smith had a little much better at bats there. The pitching was great as always. But yeah, I think this was an exciting series for the Astros and Astros fans. It's kind of crazy because Friday's game, again, like you said, actually exploded. But then Saturday's game, the bats were silent. But luckily for the fans on Sunday, the bats came alive again.
I mean, I feel like it's always a trend with that. The Astros score 10 plus runs, and the next day it's like one or two, or maybe even nothing. But at the end of the day, they did get that series win, an important one against a divisional rival in the Angels. I don't have the standings on me right now, but the Astros are 7-8 as of right now. They're going to go St. Louis to play against a former NL divisional rival, but of course, Astros are in the American League.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to recap this series, preview that Cardinal series. Go ahead.
I have the standings.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the Angels actually, even though they lost the series, are still in first place in the AOS. They're 9-6. Rangers 9-7 in second place. Seattle jumped in third place with an 8-8 record. Astros are in fourth place, 7-8, and Athletics are in last place with a 6-10 record.
Oh yeah, barely at the beginning of the season. Of course, it's gonna get wild because that's how this West division is. At the end of this season, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 23 and 24 when it comes to the last bit of games of the season. But like I was mentioning, we're gonna recap that series of the Angels, preview that St. Louis series, share our overall thoughts of seeing that Halos and Astros almost had a World Series like play in foul ground in the game. It was game 2, I believe. So share our thoughts on that. Ducks aren't lining. I would like to say that because Caleb Ward, Forrest Willie, and Lance McCullers Jr., we got some updates on those guys and potentially might be returning soon. So that's why I'm saying the Ducks are lining in place for them. And of course, talk about a little bit of Spencer Rigetti. He spoke to the media on Saturday about that freakish accident that happened where he had broke his thumb. Cantu, let everybody know where they can find us, and then we get this show started.
Of course, you can find us on all social media platforms. We're on X, TikTok, YouTube at Full Steam Ahead. On Instagram is FSA Full Steam Ahead. We're on Apple Podcast and Spotify Podcast. But yeah, we're everywhere. Spread the words. Tell your friends to come to the podcast, the Best Astros podcast, and show them our way.
Yes, most definitely. But Divius OG with the star and the orange, of course, is not Minute Maid no more. It is, of course, a lot of people will, no matter what, the juice box will live on for a lot of these Astro fans. And my gosh, the stars and the oranges, I guess, were out on game 1 with that win, 14-3. I did not expect the Astros to put 14 runs on the board in that first game after that Seattle series where At game three, they did score some runs, but I did not expect 14. And like I mentioned, the offense did explode this whole series, and it started in game one. Yiner Diaz is going to be the talk of this town. Grand slam, of course, he was fighting off. I think he was hitting under $1 in before this series had started. He finished that series 3 for 5 with a home run and 5 RBIs. Mind you, this was game one. Hit that grand slam. The Astros haven't hit a grand slam since 2023.
It's crazy.
I was very shocked about that.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, honestly.
I didn't know that. Like I thought they would have had one last year from Jordan or Yiner or Tucker, but nobody. Nobody did it until 2023.
I mean, the streaks. I guess the new streak begins.
Yes, it definitely begins. But Isaac Paredes, my gosh, he had a series. In game one, 3 for 4 with a home run and 2 RBIs. Jordan Alvarez, 2 for 4 with an RBI. Christian Walker, 2 for 3 with an RBI and 2 walks. And then that last bottom of the order, I will say, looks very consistent, looks very good with Jake Myers and Cam Smith in that 8-9 role or 7-8 role in that bottom part of the order. Jake Myers was 2 for 3 with the RBI walk, 2 stolen bases. Cam Smith, another multi-hit game, 2 for 4 with a double, 3 RBIs, a walk, and a stolen base. And of course, you cannot forget his first career home run in his major league career. A lot of Astros were hearing between Yiner, between Isag, Cam Smith. Everybody was look at this. It was just nothing but Bobby Dynamite and the Gab Band playing at Dyken Park on Friday night. I didn't know if you want to add on anything, but okay.
Yeah, I was just waiting for the song to clear out.
You don't have to. You just keep talking.
Oh, okay, my fault. But yeah, I think in that game there was a lot of candidates for player of the game, honestly, and Cam Smith being able to hit his first home run at Minute Maid Park, I'm sure that's special. Means a lot more. I wonder if he got the ball back. Was there any news on that?
I didn't get to ask him. I should have, but I did not ask him when I had gone to the ballpark on Saturday. But real quick, since we're talking about Cam Smith and his first career home run, this is from the post-game media. This video is coming from Brian McTaggart on Twitter. So if you want to go see the whole clip, you go see it. But here's a little sneak peek of what he had to say after the game with the media.
Popped up after that double. Can you take us through that and what you were thinking and feeling in that
Yeah,
moment?
I was just feeding off that atmosphere we have here in Dyken Park, honestly. It's electric. I get the chills every time that crowd roars, and I love to hear it every time we have a big hit or a big inning.
How about the home run? What are you looking for there? And what was it like just getting that one out of the way and rounding the base?
Yeah, I thought I was pretty high, so I couldn't really pimp it like Yiner did. But I know I had a good chance. I clipped it pretty good.
What do you feel like has been better about your bats since the couple of days that you had off?
Just working with Cintrone and Sinker in the cage just a little bit more than I usually have.
Do you feel like you've been doing anything differently or doing anything maybe that's helped you have some better results?
Yeah, just knowing when to get ready. Just being on time isn't good enough for me, so I had to get ready a little bit early, and I think that's helped.
Yeah, I mean, he's made a huge adjustment, I will say, in these games. That last game of that Seattle series had a multi-hit game. Going into game one, had that multi-hit game as well with the double and the home run. The approach that he's always been since spring training have been big league approaches, great plate discipline, but now starting to make better contact with the ball. Of course, when you see him hit the ball too, it's either up the middle or the other way. And I've yet to see him pull a ball since his triple in Seattle, but the approaches that he's been doing, it's looked very big league for him.
Wasn't the home run a pull shot?
Pull shot as well. Sorry about that. Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
No, but yeah, a lot more better at bats from the kid. Honestly, we've talked about this numerous times. Baseball's a game of adjustments, and when you're early, he was fired. He was on fire during spring training, and guess what? The opponent's team's doing. Looking at that film from spring training, looking at minor league film as well from him, and the pitching coaches are adjusting to that. So I'm sure they threw some new looks on at Cam Smith. I remember when the Giants threw, I think it was Taylor Rogers, kind of like that right-handed submarine water. I think honestly, Cam Smith looked like he never seen one of those in the major leagues, and might have been right. But as he gets more at bats, he gets more comfortable there. Again, the Astros fans are seeing the potential this kid can do. This is the reason why the Astros got him. A good series. Now, the only thing is to keep it going, right? Obviously, he's not gonna get a hit at every at bat, but just if he can get 4 or 5 quality at bats a game, that's a win. And once he starts doing that, I'm sure most of those outs will lead to hits.
Yeah, definitely agree. Last 7 games for Cam Smith, 6 for 24, home runs, 6 RBIs, a walk, 7 strikeouts. Of course, you're going to see that with a rookie in his first big league season and a stolen base. 3 of those 6 hits have been extra base hits with the triple, the double, and the home run. But you notice what he said. He's been working with Cintron and Snitker, and I've seen it on a lot on social media about firing Coach Snitker and Coach Cintron, fire the hitting coaches. All
That's
this
crazy.
and that, like they can't go out there and hit for these guys. They can only do what they can. I've seen them put the iPads out to record them after the hitter, whatever, if it's Altuve, Dubon, Dezenzo, I mean, whoever is hitting in the cage, after they get out of the cage, sometimes Cintron will talk to him, see what they got to do, either him or Snitker. They always talk about these adjustments. I like you made a good point. This is where you have to make an adjustment each and every game because other coaches got film on you. They're going to see your stats and all that type of other stuff, what your weakness is, what your strengths are. And right now, Cam Smith, I mean, of course, you got to fight off the weaknesses, but he's looking like he's getting his strengths in each game one at a time.
Yeah. And it's just, again, it's day by day with him. I know some rookies are getting off to a hot start, and it might seem like bad for Cam Smith to start the way he is, but again, he's still a rookie. He's still learning the way the Major League Baseball is. So just patience, and I'm sure he's gonna get some more bursts like this in this series when he just starts hitting.
Yeah, look at that, Kristen Campbell. He's struggling right now, 231 average.
He started off hot.
Yeah, start off. You make a good. That's why I was going with that when you're making that point. 6 hits, 26 at bats, no home runs, no RBIs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. So these rookies are learning. Like it's a learning game throughout this season for both these guys specifically because they started right there off the bat on opening day, and now they're going on to game 16. So that's the beauty of baseball. You just got to make adjustments, especially for them that they're rookies, that they're so young. And what's so good about that for them is they absorb all that information from veterans, from hitting coaches, from head coaches. They absorb that information like a sponge. And every day is going to be a learning day, not just for baseball, just for life in general with everybody else. You learn something new every day, regardless. And sure enough, Cam Smith is just doing that day by day. And he's honestly the student of the game. He's honestly a student of the game. And I also wanted to mention too, like, this kid isn't afraid of the moment. Like I honestly believe he thrives under the lights. Like he had mentioned, like that energy that the crowd feeds off, like he feeds off of that at Daikin Park. It could be a sellout crowd. It could be just like opening day. And he's going to just continue to do what he can. And I think it just makes him a better player, a better hitter, a better defensive player as well. And like I said, it's just a learning thing for this kid. And honestly, Astro fans shouldn't see as a waste. It's just having to be patient with a rookie coming into play.
Honestly, no, I agree with you there.
Yeah, but the biggest stat of the night for this offense: 8 walks, 3 strikeouts as a team. 8 walks and 3 strikeouts as a team. An impressive night for the offense.
Absolutely, that's great to see there.
Yeah, because of course we've seen the trend of the Astros having double-digit strikeouts in either one of the games, 2 of the games, or even the whole series. And in this game, you saw a lot of players taking some pitches, some great quality pitches too, outside just the zone, inside part of the zone. I know this is almost an Isaac Paredes podcast right now because the way he was looking at the pitches go through, the sweepers, the sliders, like all the off-speed pitches, he tracks it all the way down to the low part of the zone. And I don't know if you've seen that in each at bat where he takes a pitch, and I especially talk about that outside part of the plate because he's looking at what pitch is good. And of course, we know that he's a pull hitter, but you never know. He can still hit one to the other side.
Yeah, and he's also not afraid of the 0-2 count either because he knows he has such a great eye. He knows he's going to fight off those pitches. And something that's surprising with me is, again, when he's down in the count, the at bats he turned like those like so some of those turn out to be quality at bats when
Yeah.
it's 0-2, 1-2 in the count. So he's been, I think, as advertised as the Astros had. I mean, something that I've I've liked to see from Isaac Perez that is good so far. Well, when he comes up to bat, the outfield plays him a little back. Obviously, they know the power. So what is he doing a little bit more? Those bloop singles, right? Those uh there was a, I'm not sure what game it was, but it was a like kind of a soft hit ball in center field. It looked catchable, but the center fielder was playing so back, it landed right in front of him for a base hit.
Mhm.
Like like if he can continue taking advantage of that outfield playing so deep, those home runs was those power doubles will soon be able to come with that too.
I'm very interested to see. I'm gonna pull up his spray chart real quick. I know it's like right on the spot, but um, because I've seen majority of his hits are literally pull heavy, and he
Mhm.
only has one hit to the opposite side of the field this
I think
season.
that was in
Everything
the first series too.
it could have been. Let me see. I'm gonna just press it real quick.
Either,
Just
either the
it was
first and
against
second.
it was against Seattle,
It's just oh okay.
but then
I
there
could have
was
sworn
one
it
on
was
the
in there.
right side too in Seattle as well. So he only has two hits to the other side of the field, being in right, and everything else has been up the middle and pull heavy. And that's
Mhm.
what the Astros were going to give. And even Isak had mentioned it too in spring training. He said, I'm going to do whatever I'm comfortable doing, and that's pulling the ball. And he's done a really good job with that. Of course, with being at home at Dyke Park for him, it's just helping him more just get that extra base hit, either hitting the wall in the Crawford boxes or hitting it over the Crawford boxes for a home run. So he's taking advantage of what he has at home at least. So of course, when it comes
Yeah.
to the away games, they'll have to make an adjustment, like you were saying. Maybe then blue singles come into play, a double down the line, all that type of stuff. But when he's at Houston, as of right now, 3 home runs consecutively in that series against the Angels, taking advantage of it every single time.
Absolutely.
But we cannot forget about the pitching, even though we did talk about the offense. Ronel Blanco did enough for the job. 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Another questionable play right here for Joe Espada. 84 pitches, 52 strikes. Obviously, it did work in the Astros' favor, scoring 14 runs. But in my opinion, I would like to see Blanco continue going on. I think it was the second part around the order, or it was getting to that third part of the order. Um, but in my opinion, I would have let Blanco, just while I was making my point with Wisniewski, the last podcast we had talked about. I think I would have let Blanco just pitch a little bit more until the wheels kind of started falling off.
Yeah.
But I love seeing this stat right here from him. 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Biggest thing for him this season, well, for him coming into this season, was going to be that walk rate. And it cannot be in 3. It cannot be 4. You saw that right here. 1 walk, 7
Yeah.
strikeouts. He has 84 pitches. He could have honestly gone another inning. And it really helped him be able to pitch that well and not give up any free backs to the Angels.
Yeah, that's been the biggest thing, and he still struggled a bit with the fastball high.
Mhm.
What I think with that is he's trying to pick those inside and outside corners in the high part of the strike zone. He's just not hitting them right. Uh, I will talk about that his fastball a little bit in the future preview because I think Ronald Blanco like it hasn't been determined yet, but I think he will be pitching against St. Louis just because his turn rotation. But uh, it's just he's not the same Ronald Blanco, right?
Yeah.
As he is right now. I think it's kind of he's kind of starting the season where he left off last year, kind of struggling with command a little bit. You know, teams are catching up to his fastball, and I think that's what's getting him there. I think once he's able to locate that fastball a little bit better, those outs will start becoming a little bit more. But sometimes he gets a little too fine, and that's where those walks happen as well. So it's just interesting what kind of adjustments Ronald Blanco continues to do.
And I think that's just every pitcher. Every pitcher just tries to do too fine, and sometimes it bites them in the butt, and sometimes it does really well for them. Of course, another guy that tries to do so much is Spencer Arrighetti. He wants to be fine with his pitches. Nothing wrong with that, but you just got to hit your spot and hit
Yeah.
your location. We'll have some updates on him come in later part of the show. Carlos Leon, awesome show as always, gentlemen. Appreciate the shout out, my man. Of course, this is our guy that does bring on the Blitz podcast, all the texts and updates. I know the NFL draft is coming soon, if I'm not mistaken. This guy has all the news for the Texans and NFL, so make sure you go out there, give him a follow. And like he was mentioned in the comments, come on, jump onto the comments. Let us know what you think about everybody from the offense to the pitching side, how everybody did in this series. And of course, we do got that preview coming up. So share your thoughts. Let's engage in this audience. We appreciate all of that. But game 2, Astros, of course, scoring 14 runs. And next thing you know, they only scored 1 run. And that's just baseball for you right there. And losing for that game 4-1. Offense wasn't really there. Only collected 3 hits in this game. Tyler Anderson was no-hitting the Astros all the way to the 6th inning. And, that's something that you just got to tip your cap. He's a really good pitcher. He was an all-star last year for the Angels. So it's one of them things. He had the hitters off balance. Yordan Alvarez did break up that no-hitter with a double. And Isaac Paredes, of course, hitting a Crawford Bach home run, was the Astros' lone run in that game. But something like with that, it's kind of just you tip your cap and, can't do nothing about it.
Yeah. I know that in my Patreon preview, I said that he depends on location because he's not going to blow you out with that fastball. Well, Tyler Anderson did a great job locating his off-speed pitch. I think he actually got a fastball past Jeremy Pena just because he got him a little bit out of balance there. Yeah. So sometimes as a hitter, you're thinking, I know his best pitch is going to be a changeup or an off-speed pitch, and then bam, he comes back with a fastball, and then he just takes you by surprise there. But yeah, Tyler Anderson showed Astros fans why he was an all-star this past year, and this outing was his best in I think this season because he's been kind of struggling to come out the season. But I think Angels, if Tyler Anderson can pitch like that, the Angels are going to be competitive.
Yeah, and also they have Yusei Kikuchi, who I'm pretty sure is utilizing his changeup a little bit more ever since coming to Houston. But the rookies, of course, we saw Ryan Gusto make his first career start on the bump. Stat line for that game: 4 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, 72 pitches were thrown, 48 strikes. Of course, he would have thought maybe Joe Spa would let him go another inning. But nah, it was his first start. I think that was a good call on Joe. Pitch mix wasn't bad at all, I would say, too. I will say the only thing that kind of hurt Gusto was 20 pitch innings, and it was a lot. I was tracking him on my chart. 20 pitches in the first inning, second inning about through 22. I think one of the innings he only threw maybe under 10 pitches, but everything else has been double digit. And, the Angels did make him work. I believe Shono hit a home run. Who was another one that hit a home run? I think
Tyler Ward.
Yeah, Taylor Ward hit another one. So first start, I mean, he, like I said, his pitch mix wasn't.
I think Soler too.
Soler too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think
the velocity wasn't bad. I mean, everything looked good. Like I mentioned, pitch mix was really good. Dana Brown had mentioned on the Astros radio show with Robert Ford on Sunday, which is today, had talked about that he was very encouraged on his start. He potentially could be making another start, but as of right now, we're not sure what. That's why I think Game 3 of that St. Louis series is to be determined. Angel believes it could be Ronel Blanco, which it should be, but if not, then they could be doing something different. At the end of the day, though, it's just a rookie trying to get his feet wet on the mound. And he, like I said, I think he did a really good job. The 20 pitches were the only thing was the issue for him. Other than that, could have gone another inning. But
well, the thing is, he's been a reliever this the whole time. He probably wasn't stretched out as much. So 72 innings it was kind of like his limit for that. But I think it was kind of a welcome to the show. I mean, like I know he's pitched in the major leagues before, but it's different from a reliever to a starter. It's it's like you're starting. Might be a little jitters there. Might be a different routine. But what the Angels did was take advantage of mistakes. One of his numbers I saw was a fastball. They right that middle, took it to the bleachers there. So they did a really good job taking advantage of his mistakes. But again, encouraging sign for Ryan Gusto. If he can, like you said, if he can limit those pitch innings, I think that's a pitcher who's trying to work again, trying to be defined, maybe trying to get outs, especially. the pressure could be on, and we'll try to go a little bit more, knowing he only has 72 pitches, trying to maybe squeeze in the 5th inning or 6th inning if possible. But I do see him making another start. It all depends, I think, on Lance McCullers of when he's ready for that. But I think he should make one more round of rotation and maybe see Lance McCullers there.
Yeah, well, we'll have a little update with McCullers. It was just Taylor Ward and Nolan Shona. I thought there was another guy that hit a home run, but
so there was today then. Huh?
Yeah, Soler was today. I will say in that first inning, it kind of looked out of hand, and Taylor Ward hit a single, where he followed up with a double, and then Trout had a single. I was like, oh man, this rookie could be coming out soon for the Astros, and it might be a bullpen game. But Gusto settled down, and you made a good point, Angel. He's been using as a relief role for the Astros bullpen this whole time being called up. So first start, you're not going to pitch 90 pitches in your first start. So yeah, credit to you on that. I didn't even think about that.
Appreciate that.
But Logan Van Wy had a good major league debut. We didn't get to mention that on game 1. Only pitched 2 innings scoreless. I believe about 2-3 strikeouts. But Van Wy did pitch in that next game, in game 2, piggybacked after Gusto's start, try to pick up his Space Cowboy camaraderie buddy. 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 run. Did give up a home run as well. So I don't know if I would have gone to Logan Van Wy after throwing 2 innings, but that was the decision on Joe. But it really did make a difference because, like I mentioned, the Astros offense just was not there. They just couldn't get anything going. They were over 3 with runners in scoring position. Like I mentioned, Tyler Anderson did a really good job keeping Houston's hitters off balance. I know for sure Astros did have bases loaded, and the Astros just didn't capitalize. Jeremy Pena did strike out, and I'm not sure who was after Jeremy Pena at that time, but just couldn't capitalize and bring those runs in. At the end of the day, like I mentioned, it's just one of those games. But I would say for for Houston's case of game 2 would be that fan interference. And it wasn't called. And I don't know what game. Yeah, I don't know what game of the World Series was with the Dodgers and Yankees. Everybody remembers that video and remembers that moment of that guy taking the ball out of Mookie Betts' glove and laugh out loud kind of thing for the whole baseball world. But similar play happened over here in Houston in right field. Mike Trout making a jumping catch at the wall, which was really impressive by him because he is not a corner outfielder. He's really in center field. And he had made the catch, honestly. When you look at the replay, and of course, when you look at slow motion, the ball was in his glove. Mm-hmm. The fan took the ball out of his glove, and you even saw him too. He tried giving it back to Trout to. It wouldn't
make
work
amends, I guess.
But he tried giving it back. Umpire crew gathered and tried to figure out what that call was going to be, and it ended up staying as the call. Like it was a foul ball at the end of the day, which was very shocking.
Yeah,
I thought honestly that should have been a fan interference. Wasn't called. So. I think Ron Washington too, Angels manager, was very shocked about that call. But at the end of the day, gave Yainer Diaz another chance. Did not capitalize. He did get a fly out to center field. But at the end of the day, later in the game, the father and the son were escorted out of their seats. They had to be relocated with the new seats. I highly doubt it would have been sweet seats or any club or diamond club seats. So. But yeah, they had to be relocated after that. A lot of Astro fans were booing them. I felt bad for the dad. You know, of course, you weren't trying to do it intentionally. I will say that. You're just trying to get a ball probably for your son. I saw with my own eyes. The dad went up and he left his son there so he can enjoy the game. I'm guessing maybe they were going to try to kick him out and not be there for the whole game. But obviously they would get his son. Like I mentioned, they did relocate. But beauty of baseball, man, is the players. And Mike Trout is one of those guys that baseball fans love. After the game, he met with the father and son and gave the kid a baseball bat, one of his bats, old hickory bats. And he actually signed the baseball that the dad had kept from that foul ball. So I thought that was pretty cool, being able to do that. Trout said, quote, he was really apologetic. I learned new things every single day, end quote. And that was talking about the dad being very apologetic. But I think baseball, like Major League Baseball, needs to get this rule kind of situated, because how you're going to say that in one of the most important games in baseball with that fan interference, and then this one right here. I mean, there's reasons why baseball has replay, and they didn't call it because
It's a judgment call, isn't it?
literally it was like this right here in his glove.
Yeah.
But
You see what? I think that's a judgment call, though. It's basically what the umpire sees at that moment. It's like, and again, like the luxury of watching on TV or having replays that you can see it in slow motion, but when the umpire is there, everything's moving so fast, right? But I do agree with you. Like looking at it, it should have been a fan interference, especially once you see Mike Trout hanging there with someone, someone wrapping his hands around his glove. I think that was an obvious call there, but just trying to put myself in an umpire's perspective, I might have been kind of fast, but I think that was an easy one to call. That's just again, that's just my opinion. But Mike Trout's just a bigger person, because I think if that was me, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not giving you anything. But it just
I'm pretty sure you're trying to fight like Ron Artest at the Palace.
Probably, but no, but this is just what makes baseball's a game. But at the end of the day, you're able to build relationships, and now this kid has a moment he'll remember for his entire life. Getting a bat or a ball signed by either one of the greatest players, one of the great players to play baseball. So pretty phenomenal stuff.
Yeah, I wonder what that kid's gonna say going to school. Hey,
show and tell.
I got a ball, and I met Mike Trout, and I got his bat, and man, he's gonna be bragging about that.
No, absolutely.
But yeah, that was a very interesting just game. Fan interference. Astros couldn't score 1 run after scoring 14, and yeah, that's the beauty of this. But game 3 was a different scenario for these guys, and we're going to start off with pitching on this one. Hey, Wisniewski, man, very electric, looking good. Following that great quality start he had in Seattle, came up with it again. Another QS in the book for Wisniewski. 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, no walks, 10 strikeouts, double-digit Ks from the kid. I believe this is the first double-digit K from any Astros starter this season so far. I could be wrong.
Crazy because you have Hunter Brown.
Wait, Hunter Brown and
what about Eric Getty?
Eric Getty maybe had 7 or 8.
Oh, he had 5 in this.
This would be a good. Yeah, this would be good to see if I want to say Wisniewski does have the first Astros double-digit strikeouts this season. I could be wrong, but I feel very confident on this. But anyway, with Wisniewski's mixed pitch, you're going to get a little bit of everything. You're going to get a little fastball here. You're going to get a little sweeper there, a little curveball there. And his off speeds, man, this kid has great movement. And I've been preaching this every time we talk about him, because that sweeper, that RPM is insane. Yeah. Like, if you haven't seen Pitching Ninja on Twitter, because he breaks down like all the starting pitchers, their strikeouts and all that. A lot of swords in this game for Wisniewski. Only gave up solo shots. That was the biggest thing for him. Didn't walk anybody. Like I said, walks equals runs. Only gave up 3 solo shots to Taylor Ward, Nola Shawneau, and Jorge Soler, which that ball didn't go and orbit the world. It only it stayed in the ballpark for that. But Wisniewski did a really good job. 5-run second inning was just enough for the Astros. And you got to give credit, like I mentioned in the beginning with game 1, got to give credit to this bottom part of the lineup. Cam Smith, RBI single. Torpedo Doobie, which we have a little sneak peek of a video with him. Mauricio Dubon, again, that game-tying RBI single. Jose Altuve just missing a home run down the left field line. Everybody thought it was a home run. I think even Bobby Dynamite was already bringing that train on the tracks. And Crawford, but didn't get a home run, would end up popping up or flying out to either the center fielder or the second baseman. Well, Isaac Perez, like, you know what, Altuve, I got you, dog. I already got 2 home runs in this series. Let me make it 3rd. And sure enough, back-to-back games with the homer for Isaac Paredes. Crawford box shot, put the nail in the coffin in this game for that, I would say, because it was 5-2 at the time, and the Astros would run away with it and won the game 7-3. But, man, this offense really blew this series on. I think this is what Astro fans have been wanting, and they've been waiting for this offense to show up and start exploding, because you see the potential on this lineup. You see it on paper, and you're like, yeah, this is a playoff team. And then when you're looking at their stats as of right now, you're like, well, shoot, Yiner's batting under 2. Yordan Alvarez is almost at 2. Jeremy Pena, Christian Walker. I mean, you're talking about all-star potential players not getting anything going as of right now, but this series is a good start for them to carry that momentum heading into St. Louis.
Yeah, it just takes one game, one series to change the dynamic of the season, and I think it's not going to be easy in St. Louis when we talk about this pitching period. Like St. Louis has a great three-round rotation going in there for the series. I know they have 5, right? But 3 guys are going to see in the series, and I mean the Astros could do it, but it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, let's talk real quick about Mauricio Dubon. I went Saturday for the game, like I mentioned, and he was the first Astro to have this torpedo bat going. He was testing it out on the cages. Yainer Diaz even had looked at it for a second. He's like, you know what? Let me try that out too. Why not? So Diaz was taking a couple of swings. I was talking to some of the media guys, and they were saying that Diaz had mentioned that he didn't like the model that Dubon was swinging, but he has a model coming soon that he'll be working on testing it out. But as of right now, Mauricio Dubon's the only one with a torpedo bat. He was showing me too. I even felt the bat too. I thought it was a little top heavy, but it's like any normal bat.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, it's just a little top heavy. It's not massively heavy because of the bigger barrel and all that type of stuff. It's just like an MLB regular bat, but like I mentioned, little top heavy means real quick. Little top heavy means the tip of the bat head, like this part right here. Obviously, top heavy. It'd be like a little heavy right here at this part where the barrel's at. So
that's what I was wondering, because that was my first thought when they said that they're moving more wood to the barrel just to make it. That was my first thought. It was gonna be like top heavy, but I had never touched one, never felt one, so it was just me speculating. But you confirmed that, I think.
Yeah, it just a little. I even asked, like I even told Dubon, I was like, man, it doesn't feel top heavy or doesn't feel like nothing like that. He's like, yeah, just a little, but it feels like any regular major league bat, like a Victus and Murchie and like all the traditional bats that we've seen. But we got a little sneak peek of that video with Dubon and that little interview that we had. We'll post it on our YouTube channel to get the whole interview with him. Difference when you were swinging the bat with it, like contact wise, the pop of it.
Yeah, I mean, some people get confused too. Like some people think like it makes the bat like ball go further. No, it doesn't. It's just change a little bit of the barrel. But like I'd say, we'll see how it goes. I mean, there's some balls that I put my hands inside of it and ended up carrying a little bit more just because end up hitting with a barrel. But like I said, we'll see how it goes. And if it got hits, it's a great bat. If it doesn't, I'll throw it away.
I don't think he's throwing it away. He got a hit in this game. He even made some good contact hitting it to the opposite field in his second at bat. It was at the warning track. But I honestly think this might be a trend, maybe coming to Houston soon. I know Joe Espada had mentioned the last homestand where he had mentioned it in the Giants homestand that torpedo bats were coming to Houston and they were going to try out in the Angel series. But as of right now, Mauricio Dubon is using the torpedo bat, and I guess he likes it so far, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting who else is going to jump on the train too. So, be on the lookout for that.
Yes, most definitely. But overall thoughts of this series, real quick. Isaac Paredes is coming around, and we had mentioned it 2 podcasts ago. Got to be patient. Got to be patient with him. You got to be patient with Christian Walker. And yeah, Paredes is coming around as of right now. Last 7 games, 12 for 31. A 387 batting average, 441 on base percentage, a 677 slugging, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, 3 walks. OPS has rised up to a 830. So putting, like I said, I think putting him in that 2 spot was a great thing to do, even though the speed isn't there like a traditional 2-spot hitter or the best hitter being in that 2 spot like you've always preached about. Yeah, I think it's helping a lot for the Astros just in case Altuve doesn't get on. You potentially got Paredes to come on. You have Altuve, let's say he hits a double, that extra base hit, double or triple. Runners in scoring position, you got Paredes that can either make contact or work a walk or just make that pitch count go high and make it a QAB, quality at bat, to hand it off to Alvarez. But, man, my biggest thing real quick is just have to be patient with these guys. Like we said with Paredes, like we said with Walker. We'll talk about here in a second on this next bullet point.
Yeah, Yeah, and it was only the fifth time in his career where he's hit consecutive home runs, and it's actually been the first time in over 2 years. The last time he hit uh, consecutive home runs was March 31st through April 2nd, 2023. So it's been a while since he's done that, but this just shows that Paredes in the Crawford boxes is like peanut butter and jelly,
Is it peanut butter and jelly?
of course.
But taking the offensive part real quick, I did talk to Tony Perez Chica about this infield defense, and he said one of the players that has improved a lot defensively has been Isak. He said that he's shown a lot of growth, and I mean, I'm working on a thing that'll probably come on later, but hearing that from Perez Chica, knowing that there's Gold Glovers around him like a Brendan Rodgers, who Brendan Rodgers is day to day working on I think it was a groin issue at this moment. So just a little nugget out there. But Jerry Pena, Gold Glove, Christian Walker, Gold Glove. Obviously, Perez is the only one not on there with the Gold Glove, but the progression, all that type of stuff. He's always working with Perez Chica on the side before he had some infield drills. Like I did a video with Walker and him, the corner infielders working from first and third. So I think also, just want to put this out there too. This is another guy that the Astros could potentially look for a contract extension. He's very young. He just turned 26. So I'm not saying that that's going to be the number one priority heading into the offseason or even during this season, but I think the Astros will look at it knowing that he had an all-star year last year. Honestly, he should have been an all-star the other year prior to last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Astros could be looking into that either this season or in the offseason.
Yeah, and like going to what Persica said, like Isaac Perez has played his position well too. Like it hasn't been like a defense liability or anything like that. Like I know maybe last year, the past 2 years, when the ball was hit to first base, Astros fans were kind of weary or anything like that.
Mhm.
And having Alex Bregman, you knew, or Astros fans knew that once that ball is going to third base, it's an automatic out because Bregman was that good in his position. And I think with Isaac Perez, there's really, for me, no worry defensively. I think he's done a really great job managing third base, and he's done it defensively this year. And if the bag keeps heating up, I think Astros fans are not going to be missing Alex Bregman for too much longer.
Yeah, they might be saying Alex Bregman who, but yeah, he's been holding that position very well in the hot corner. I'm not saying that he could be Gold Glove ready, but just improving that defense day by day. He's looking very good, making some diving catches, making some sick plays as well. So just more to come for him, see how he progresses throughout this season. But moving on to that next bullet point, like I was mentioning, with being patient with these guys. Tough luck with some of the Astro players with the offensive regarding their offense. And like I mentioned, it's going to come around. Baseball fans, Astro fans, everybody has to just be patient. And per Brooks Gate on Twitter, this is a good stat to see. And it was a good thing that he had put it on there. It was really nice. 4 of the 25 players on their unluckiest hitters list are Astros. Number 14 is Yainer Diaz with a 214 slugging. His expected slugging is 398. Yordan Alvarez is 16 with a 333 slugging. He has an expected slugging of 506. Christian Walker is 20th, slugging 245. Expected slugging is 403. And Jerry Pena with 23 ranked on there, 340 slugging. He's supposed to be expected slugging is 496. So it's just a lot of these guys are hitting it to right at the positional players. But like Joe Espada has preached, and if you know the game of baseball, you got to continue hitting throughout these slumps because they're going to fall eventually one day or the other.
Yeah, and it's baseball's a funny game where sometimes the 100-mile-per-hour line drive is right at somebody for an out, and the 70-mile-per-hour bloop drops in the outfield. So I wouldn't, as long as these guys are making contact and hard contact, those hits will come around. So again, not too worried about these guys. The only one that I know he had a great series is probably Yainer Diaz. I think I saw a stat, I forgot where, that he has seen the less pitches in the zone out of like in all the baseball, because they know pitchers know that he's a free swinger, he's in the chase. So I think once he cuts that down and takes his walks, pitchers have no choice but to come into the zone to get strikes. And once that happens, I think he can get some great hits. I I think if he can just be a little less aggressive and take his walks and stop chasing at the zone, he'll be a much better hitter. I mean, he's already a great hitter,
Yeah.
right? But it's just I think some of those like weak contacts or those strikeouts because he chased it. I think he has a chance to cut those down if he just adjusts a little bit more.
Yeah, he just has to, yeah, like you mentioned, he's a free swinger. He just has to have great discipline. And sometimes he does. There's some games that he looks at the box and he just looks comfortable and he takes good pitches. But then there's some games that he's too antsy and he's ready to smoke one out of this ballpark and he starts free swinging. It's almost like Altuve. Altuve is the same way. He's going to swing at that first pitch. I think every pitcher knows that when they go onto the mound, Altuve 9 times out of 10 is going to be swinging at that first pitch. That's why I gave that one because sometimes he doesn't swing at the first pitch. But 9 times out of 10 for me, I feel like he is going to swing that first pitch. Sometimes it goes good for him. Sometimes it doesn't go good for him. So that happens. But Hayden Wesneski and Ronel Blanco answered the call. 17 strikeouts and 1 walk combined from both of them. And this was the biggest thing when we were talking about this preview last episode was Hayden Wesneski and Ronel Blanco having to step up, knowing that Spencer Arrighetti is going to be on the IL for – we don't know for how long, but he's going to be on the IL. And now they have a rookie and Gusto coming to pitch in this series. And Wesneski and Blanco did their job and pitched really well. And look at that. Both them games that they had pitched got the win in that series.
Yeah. No, yeah. Something that has not been besides 2 starts, this Astros pitching staff has been really phenomenal. And it's unlucky that Spencer Arrighetti and Ronel Blanco had consecutive bad starts where really affected the bullpen. But like if you pay attention to last week's or last episode in this podcast, before those bad 2 starts, the bullpen was nails. They were like one of the best in the American League. And I think if that trend continues where the starters can go 5-6 innings, and that bullpen will just get better because we'll have more rest throughout series and games. So I think the Astros pitching staff is not the issue. That why they're not over 500 is just more the offense coming around.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I would say it's a little bit of everything. It's some days are some starters, but as of right now, starting pitching looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you've seen that bullpen, and I want to say that's the biggest thing because the away series and with the Twins and the Mariners, that bullpen was bad. It was just tax. Yeah. You can't do nothing about it. It was just tax. And Arrighetti and Blanco did have a rough start in them games against the Twins. And then your offense, the Astros have been slow this season. And it's almost every season with this team. They're always a slow starting team. The offense is very slow to get going. And you've seen that middle part of the order. We kind of break down each batting average, each OPS for these guys. It just hasn't been really well for them. And if you can get that rotation staying how disciplined how it's been, the bullpen being how the bullpen has been doing, they really did good this series as well. And you get the offense. If you get this offense that did 22 runs in this series, they could have gone more if they would have scored a little bit more in that game too. Then this is a divisional winner team, and potentially it could be a World Series team. I'm not on that yet, but it is a playoff team. It is a playoff team. If they could get their bats hot at the right time in September, I think just if you're that team in September and you're hot, then honestly, anything can happen.
Yeah. Absolutely.
If you add Gusto's real quick strikeouts and his walk, 23 strikeouts and 2 walks in this series for Astros start pitching.
It's not bad at all.
That is very phenomenal for these guys. And last but not least, to end it on a fun note, if you are a fan of the game, do not grab a ball out of a player's glove, please, because you will be like that guy. I'm not guaranteeing you're going to be Mike Trout or a Julio Rodriguez or Ellie De La Cruz kind of guy. There's a potential ban in the process, just like that guy from New York. So just be smart if you're a baseball fan.
Absolutely. But I think it's time for the pitching preview. And on Monday's matchup, for a Monday, really great pitching matchup happening there. 6:45 game. Framber Valdez versus Sonny Gray. Framber Valdez, 1-1 record, 2.50 ERA. Again, his last start against Seattle, 6 hits, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeout. Framber Valdez was vintage Valdez there. Lights out. Really great stuff. Something that's been really productive for Framber Valdez is curveball and slider have been complementing that sinker really well, and so well that his breaking his breaking run value on Sidecast is in the 99 percentile. That's how great he's been, and he's been using. Something with Farmer Valdez is he uses that sinker a lot. It's just his sinker and his curveball bread and butter pitch. Yet his put away pitch has been the curveball, which is 30.9%, and his slider, which is 33%. His sinker put away pitch is only 10%. So he's using that sinker to get ahead, throw hitters off guard a little bit, and coming with that breaking pitch, which has been nails on there. He'll go against Sonny Gray, who's 2-0 with a 4.50 ERA. Now, his last start against Pittsburgh, he pitched 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 0 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Sonny Gray comes with a 6-pitch mix: sinker, sweeper, fastball, curveball, cutter, changeup. The changeup's only to left-handers, but he uses 4 pitches. Like, I was looking at the amount of times he's thrown it. His fastball is about 60. His sinker's about 60 times, and his sweeper, fastball, curveball around 50 times. So he's gonna mix his pitches really well, try to get you off balance. His sinker right now is his best pitch, 180. It's a .188 opponent batting average, and his put away pitch on that sinker is 44.4%. So that's his pitch he goes to when no matter anyone to count, 0 count, 0-2 count, that sinker's gonna be his bread and butter. And I remember Sonny Gray pitching really great against the Astros, so I kind of dive into about his splits versus the Astros. He's 4-4 against the Astros with a 3.03 ERA. 77.1 innings pitched. The only thing is, I think the Astros wish this game was at Minute Maid Park, because at Minute Maid Park, he's 0-2 with 4.61 ERA. But this game will be in St. Louis, where it's his home ballpark, and he's pitched pretty phenomenal there too. So it's going to be a great pitching matchup. If you're a fan of pitching, tune in Monday night for this Framber Valdez Sonny Gray matchup.
There's always that pitcher's doing one of these series, and
so far, I think that's been a really good
There's
trend.
always been one pitcher's duel in one of the series that the Astros play, and the fans are getting a good one with Sonny Gray and Framber Valdez. Sonny Gray's always, he played against Houston when he was young, when he came up to the league with the Athletics, and of course he had his tenure with the Yankees. He's gone a little bit of everywhere, the Reds, and now
I feel like I'm missing I feel like
we're missing a team too, I want to say.
Yeah.
But Framber Valdez, like, the thing with him, just got to be on point. If he's not on point in the beginning, and he can maybe catch it like in that last start, and he wasn't some of his pitches weren't on point, but in that third inning, he got it going. He started being comfortable. And Framber just got to be on point from the get-go, from his first pitch. And I'm not saying this Cardinal team is not good. They're decent. They're not bad, but they're decent. You still got an MVP over there with Nolan Arenado. You got Brendan Donovan, Victor Scott. You got some good players over there.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes the fans might not show up.
Yeah, absolutely. The next pitching matchup for Tuesday, Hunter Brown versus Eric Fed. This matchup really intrigues me because these are two pitchers who rely on totally different stuff to be successful. So Brown, just let me talk about him real quick. 1-1, 2.00 ERA. Last start against Seattle, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, 3 strikeouts, which is surprising. Whenever you see a Hunter Brown 2-hit matchup, you would think he had 7, 8 strikeouts, but only 3. We all know about Hunter Brown's fastball. It's one of the best in the game. However, his off-speed run value is at 91 percentile, and his pitching run value is 93. So his off-speed pitch has been complementing well with his fastball. He's only allowed 2 hits on the fastball. The opponent batting average is 1.25, and his knuckleball is pretty phenomenal too. Knuckle curveball.
No,
Now,
I don't think he has a knuckleball.
Knuckle curveball, my fault. But those 2 hits on the fastball have only been singles. Like, he hasn't allowed an extra base hit on that fastball, which is pretty phenomenal there. Now, it's crazy because Hunter Brown, again, high velocity fastball. Well, Eric Fed, completely different. Relies on movement. He's not gonna like his fastball. He doesn't throw anything straight, so he's gonna rely on movement. He throws a sinker, cutter. He also throws a changeup and a sweeper. So everything moves. You're not gonna get anything straight.
This is your off-speed specialist, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. His fastball, his sinker only goes 92 miles per hour average. His cutter 90.2 miles per hour average. However, his sinker and cutter has been his best pitch. He's been struggling a little bit with his off-speed command, which has been leading to big hits there. His sinker opponent batting average is 0.71, and then his cutter opponent batting average is 0.91. So it's pretty phenomenal there. But his last start against Pittsburgh, he pitched 6 hits, 0 hits allowed. In 6 innings, 0 hits allowed. He could have lasted a lot longer, but his walks have been affecting 4 walks and 2 strikeouts. And I'd say walks because in 3 starts, get a 1 good start, 1 bad start, and then this good start again. He's allowed 8 walks. He's only striking out 5 this season. So more walks in 3 starts. Sorry, so more walks than strikeouts, and he comes in with a 1-1 record, 4.20 ERA.
This is good for a Nationals lineup. If they can kind of render how it was in game 1 with 8 walks and 3 strikeouts, and they could potentially do this in game 2 in the St. Louis series against Eric Fed. Like you said, he has a lot of movement on his pitches. We could be seeing a lot of QABs in this game or a lot of swing and misses and chasing out of the zone. But we've already preached about Paredes, how he's very disciplined at the plate. Cam Smith has looked really good. Of course, you got your other players out there. Jake Myers too. Shout out to him. He's been really hitting the ball. He's really had good play discipline as well.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a good game for this batting order, specifically, like I mentioned, Houston, to get ahead of the count, make him throw some pitches, and try to get to that bullpen.
Yeah,
that's how I can see it.
I would say that too. Like, if you can get Eric Fed out the game early, I think it'll be advantage to Astros because, like we said, he's not going to really try to blow you by with that fastball. It's all about movement and location, and sometimes he's going to try to thread the needle with just on the outside of the strike zone. But if you can lay off, that'll be a long day for Eric Fed.
I think the Astros want to prevent from seeing Ryan Helsley too as well.
Yeah, he's pretty lights out too. Yeah, pretty lights out there too. Wednesday, another 6:45 game. That's surprising. Do they have a day off Thursday?
Not sure. Check it out. Do that, and I'll check for you.
For sure. Because if they have a day off, then that time makes sense. But if not, it's crazy. 6:45. Now the Astros have a TBA. They don't know exactly who, but what I'm thinking is to be Ronel Blanco because it's his term around the lineup unless something changes. Now, originally it was Steven Matz supposedly pitching, but I did see that the St. Louis Cardinals named Andre Payante as their Game 3 starter for this series.
And real quick, it is 12:15, not 6:45. So.
Oh, it's 12:15. Okay, that makes.
They are off on Thursday though, and they'll have that Padres series, but 12:15 start time for Wednesday.
That makes sense because it's a travel day, so that makes a lot more sense. So 12:15 game.
Get those lunch specials ready.
For sure. For Blanco again, 1-1 record, 6.94 ERA. Last start, what Lorenzo kind of touched on, he did a really great job of limiting the walks. I'll say his line just in case if you're kind of late coming in, but against Los Angeles Angels, he went 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, and it was a great bounce back outing. But I don't think we've seen a dominant Ronel Blanco this season, and a big factor that is his fastball's getting hit hard. He has his opponent batting average is .385, so almost 400. So that fastball's getting pretty well hit. The opponent's slugging percentage on this fastball 769.
Wow.
So, and I think that's a big factor of him not being able to locate. I think a lot of these guys are doing a good job of laying off that high fastball and making Ronel Blanco having to come into the strike zone and take it, and they're just taking advantage of that. So I think once he can nibble the corners a little bit more with that fastball, I think that's when he starts getting a little bit more out.
Yeah, and just real quick, just to touch on that, if he could get that with the nibble with the corners with that fastball, with that changeup that he has a really good changeup, and he can utilize that pitch. If his fastball is right on point with them corners, hitters are either looking or they're swinging at that pitch.
Yeah, but I think right now is they know he's struggling with command, and what is the pitcher going to go to when they're struggling with command?
Not their
fastball. Yeah.
Well, no, for him, not his fastball.
Well, I'm saying
it could be though.
Well, say well, if you're struggling with command, that means you're either in 2-1 counts, 3-0 counts, 3-1 counts.
It depends too if your pitches are on point. Let's say he doesn't have his fastball this day, obviously he's gonna go and he's hitting his changeup on his spots. More than likely, he's gonna go to a changeup.
Yeah, but again, hitters are going to be knowing it's going to come in and see if it starts slow. They're not going to lay off. They're not going to be swinging, right? So it just makes it hard to. Oh, I'm trying to say it's kind of hard to make that changeup effective when you're not hitting the spots with the fastball.
Correct.
But the St. Louis would counter with Andre Payante. Like I said, it was Steven Matz originally, but Payante is going to get the nod. He's actually 2-0 with a 2.2 ERA. His last outing against the Phillies, he went 7 innings pitched, not allowing a single run, only 2 walks and 4 strikeouts. He comes in with a 5-pitch mix, a fastball, slider, sinker, knuckle curve. I'm sorry, 4-pitch mix, fastball, slider, sinker, knuckle curve. This guy throws a lot of fastballs, but does a good job mixing his off speed. And for a guy that throws lots of fastballs, typically when you throw a lot of fastballs, you're more of a fly out pitcher, but he's a 97 percentile on ground ball percentage. So he's gonna get a lot of double plays, a lot of he's gonna put the infield to work basically. And I think a big factor of that is the effect how effective his slider is. His sliders put away pitches 30%, and the opponent batting average is 0.71. So
wow.
Astros fans are gonna be looking for that, him getting ahead with that fastball and then trying to finishing off with the slider.
Yeah, I forgot to mention too. You made a good point with Fed. I wanted to bring that back with Brown.
Go
ahead. Him and Valdez, that ground ball rate is looking good to start off the season.
Yeah.
And having the infield behind you, that like I had mentioned earlier on this show about Gold Glove potential, and that this team could win a Gold Glove as a team. Since I think the last time they did it was in 21, if I'm not mistaken. Not 100% sure, but it like you were making your point with Payante. That ground ball, utilizing his infield behind him. That's the same thing with Houston, with Framber and Hunter Brown, and they've done a really good job. They've done a really good job letting the infield work behind them instead of trying to force a fastball down their throat or an off speed, trying to get them swing away. And it's done really well for both them guys.
Yeah, again, so like I said earlier, the Astros have a chance to keep that offensive slugging, that hot streak they're on, but it's gonna be kind of hard against St. Louis. I think the best. Well, I said this about against Tyler Anderson. I mean, I think that was one of the best chances for the Astros to, explode. But Eric Fed is just a right-handed Tyler Anderson. Just movement, slow. It's not gonna blow you by much. So it'll be interesting how the Astros adjust to that. I know they saw it from the lefty standpoint. Now they're gonna see it again from the right-handed standpoint. So I'm interested to see how they adjust to that.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting series just in general, period. There could be a potential pitcher's duel in this whole series.
Yeah.
Or it can be the opposite and guys just hitting bombs at Busch Stadium. Maybe to the Anheuser-Busch brewery at this point.
And right now, St. Louis is actually, they have a similar record as the Astros, 7-8, and they're 4th in the NL Central. Do you think this is a must-win series for the Astros? Like, you think? I think they have the potential to win the series. I think it'll be a disappointment if they don't. But do you see like a must-win or anything like that?
I don't know if I would say must-win because it's it's kind of hard to define what is must-win.
Well,
is it like?
I misworded that. What I'm trying to say is kind of like, would it be a disappointment if they don't win the series?
Man, I will say yes because they got their 1-2 punch in this series against a team that hasn't. I mean, they're playing good baseball, but it's the Cardinals. The Cardinals don't have that star player. I mean, if you want to count Arenado, but they don't have pitchers that will just dot your eye like a Framber Valdez or like one of them guys from the Seattle Mariners. So I will say it will be a disappointing series if the Astros don't win it because you got your 1-2 guy in Hunter Brown and Framber Valdez. Your offense just came off of a series scoring 22 runs and one of them games double digits.
Yeah.
So I will say yes, like not in a mean way, but the Astros should be able to take care of business in this series.
Yeah, I think it's a winnable series too. And I think you make a good point. This is basically, if the Astros were in the playoffs, this is how it would look like. Valdez, Brown for sure, and then basically
Three
the
would
hot
be awesome.
the three, whoever has the hot hand or whoever's healthy at this point, right? So it's just with the offense trending in the right direction. I'm just curious to see if the Astros, if it continues, especially not being at Minute Maid Park. Like some of those home runs that they did were home runs in only like 5-6 other ballparks, right? So it's just interesting to see how well the offense will pay, not at Minute Maid Park. So we're trying to see.
Sir, it is called Daikin Park.
Sorry, Daikin Park. Yes,
Park.
It's still getting used to that.
But adding on to that real quick, too, I did mention about Brown. You got your 1-2 guy there. Last series, they had 2 wins right there in their belt, and the bullpen couldn't help it. The offense really couldn't help it. I think for the offense in this series, they would like to get Hunter Brown and Framber Valdez their win that they deserve from that Seattle series. So
some run support.
That's kind of a motivational part going into this series, at least I would say for the offense, because that kind of hurts a pitcher. Let's say they throw in a no-hitter, 7 innings and no hits and 7 strikeouts and maybe giving up 1 walk.
Yeah.
As a starting pitcher, I'm pretty sure you're grinding your teeth like shit. Like I did all this work and then it's kind of like for nothing. But it's not, none of these guys have that type of mentality.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah. Interesting series, winnable series for the Astros. And it's gonna be a tough one. I mean, like I said, the St. Louis don't walk in the park. They have some guys that can throw too. So
yeah, just look at that Seattle series. I don't think anybody thought the Astros were going to lose that series, and they almost got swept.
Yeah. So. But moving on.
Yeah.
I was like, moving on to Astros injuries. Some good news heading towards the Astros way. Caleb Ort threw a scoreless inning with a strikeout. He only needed 9 pitches to get through that. Forrest Wheatley, he had his second rehab appearance on Saturday. Threw an inning, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, a walk, 20 pitches, 13 strikes. That's what, again, these rehab appearances don't really matter, but it's all about how the pitcher feels after or how the pitcher's looking during the game. 20 pitches, 13 strikes, not a bad day at the office. Not a bad day at work. Maybe some command issues if he did allow 2 hits and 2 earned runs and a walk, but other than that, as long as he's coming out healthy, pretty good. Now, someone has looked good in almost all rehab starts. That's McCullers. It's their rehab start, and he looked even phenomenal. 4 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Now, I know McCullers is a major leaguer, and he's going against minor league guys, but at the end of the day, he's working on mechanics, and the mechanics are looking good. 61 pitches, 42 strikes. Joe Espada did mention Saturday he'll like McCullers to get into the 80-85 pitches range before getting off the IL. If he's at 61 pitches, I think maybe one or two more starts, because I think next outing he goes maybe 75 pitches, what he's limited to, and then the following after that, then he'll get to the 80-85. Daniel Brown spoke with Robert Ford and Astro Red practice on this game and mentioned, and I quote, "And we can have somehow get him back by the Kansas City series. That would be pretty encouraging." The Astros play KC on April 25th and 25. So I know 27. I know you predicted Lance McCullers late May. I said June, but it looks like he's kind of fast tracking a little bit.
That's encouraging for the Astros.
Yeah, for sure.
And not to mention too, I think he's going to have another rehab start in Corpus, this coming new weekend. Going down the road. But yeah, like you make a good point. This is we predicted May. I predicted May. Maybe you predicted June, and it's not fast tracking, but it's good and it's encouraging because he's not having setbacks. And I could knock on wood too for saying that, but he hasn't had a setback. He's recovering really well. His pitch count's going up in each start. Yes, the last start that he had, he did get hit off of pretty good. But like Angel had preached every time we're talking about these injury updates, is as long as the pitcher's getting his pitch count up, as long as he's recovering well, and as long as he's coming out of that outing looking good, then it should not matter. Of course, it will matter when it gets to the major league level.
Yeah.
But this is very encouraging for the Astros, knowing especially nobody knows the TBA of Spencer Arrighetti when he's going to come back. Of course, they're going to let that thumb rest and I think Astro fans are hoping, the front office is hoping that it progresses really well and it recovers really well, then no surgery is required. But if it turns out to be the other way around, surgery will be required. And then after that, I don't know if it'll be a month or 2 months of recovering from that. So very encouraging for the Astros to get Lance McCullers back. I know I'm pretty sure for him, he's itching to come back. He is itching to get back on that mound.
Well, it could be possible, Casey, because if I'm saying 1 or 2, he pitched what on
He pitched
Sunday?
yesterday. So
Yeah, yesterday.
the 12th.
12. Okay, so that means 1, 2, 3.
And
So
then
he pitched.
if he has the weekend series in Corpus, that'll be either the 19th
Yeah.
or the 20th.
Uh
Then he could possibly start in KC. I would say give him
2 more, I'd say.
I would say 2 more as well. Give him
Yeah.
that cushion. Yes, you do want to see him. I'm pretty sure the next start, I think the Astros are looking for him to target 70 pitches, 75 pitches, potentially 80. But I would give him that the next second to last of that rehab start, because this is his 3rd one. The next one's going to be the 4th, and then he could potentially have a 5th one. And I think I would let McCullers get a 5th.
Yeah, I'd say maybe can't say kind of too early because, like I said earlier, too. Next outing, since he threw 61 pitches, next outing will probably be 75, and then the second one will probably be, and the one after that will probably be 85, and then I think that's when the Astros can make a decision of, hey, is he ready? So maybe by the beginning of May, actually.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's whatever McCullers wants.
Yeah.
And how he feels and how his stuff feels and all that good stuff. At the end of the day, it's the player, because the manager and the general manager doesn't know how his body feels like he does.
Absolutely. Yeah. Then next on the injury report, Sean Dubin, he'll throw a live bullpen on Monday per Joe Espada. And then we kind of got a little clarity on the Spencer Getty injury thanks to Chandler Rome. He asked the great questions there. Because this is the talk we were wondering too, like, did he have someone spotting him or what happened? Because this was an unusual injury. Well, Spencer Getty said on Saturday that he did have someone guarding him while he was playing catch in that field during the Mariners BP. However, he saw the ball coming to his head, threw his hands up to protect his skull, and the ball struck his right thumb, breaking it. He said, a really, really freak accident. Now, if he came out of that with a broken thumb, I think that's the best scenario there, because you don't want him to have, a concussion or anything like that. Can lead to a more longer injury. So, at that point, I think it was just reflex. When someone said heads up, most people would do is either duck and throw with their arms too. So it's just maybe kind of just instinctual there, just protecting himself. But again, it's crazy.
You don't think a concussion would be better than a broken thumb, though? If you really think.
Well, concussions are kind of tricky, though.
They are tricky, I will say. But then again, too, you never know. It wouldn't be a concussion. Maybe it could be a little thump on your head. It's like with them cartoons when it hits you and that little bruise goes up.
But I think it was just like, again, like
it's
just
instinct.
instinct.
It is. Mm-hmm. But whoever is guarding him, I would feel like, hey, get ready. Like heads up. But like you make a good point. It was just one of them things of just the instincts. So it's just unfortunate for him. He broke his thumb, but like Angel had mentioned, did get some clarity on that. Of course, we don't know if surgery is going to be required or that his thumb is going to heal and look ready for whenever he comes off the IL.
Yeah.
Yep. But to end the show, we did get a Orbits bobblehead, courtesy of the Astros. Appreciate it. Of course, you got your Mascot Hall of Famer. I think 2024 was inducted into the Mascot Hall of Fame. Has the number right there. I'll even open it. But even had his birthday bash today. I don't know if you attended.
No.
You're a big birthday bash guy?
I was playing golf.
Oh, of course. I know you're not on the Masters, but go out there and skip Orbit's birthday. Why don't you? But I think the Mets mascot was there, the Tigers mascot. I think Toro was there. The Rockies mascot was there. I didn't know Julian Morales' birthday. Okay. The whole thing fell. Julian Morales' birthday is the day before his birthday. So that's
Oh, nice.
did not
Yeah.
know that, but yeah. There it is.
Nice.
On the picture, I don't know if you saw the picture of it. It looked like not on like right here, but like on the website. They had his antennas like down. Like it looked like droopy.
Really? No, I didn't even notice.
My wife told me, she's like, what the hell happened to his antennas? I'm like, I don't even know. One this one looks like one antenna shorter than the other. Look at this.
I can see it.
This one
That
is
one, yeah.
shorter than the other.
I can see that.
Oh man. But yeah, that is end of our show. Carlos did point out NFL draft April 24 to the 26th. So I'm interested to see what the Texans are going to get. We're going to go for an O-line or are they going to go for a receiver? Because of course Stephon
They need
Diggs,
to protect Jesus Stroud. I don't know.
yeah, they're going to have to protect him. So more than likely it'll probably be a lineman, but it's good to be a Houston fan right now. Astros win that series. Rockets are getting ready for the playoffs. I think they're going to play. They're waiting for the what seed? I think it's a 7th seed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's either going to be between Golden State, Minnesota, Memphis, and I'm not sure about the other team. I can't think of it in my head.
Who would you rather face? The Rockets.
Oh man, I'm not. I'm saying we. I'm making it sound like I'm on the Rockets, but I've seen Golden State and the Harden years of the Rockets. Man, it was sad. That they should have won 2018 if Chris Paul didn't have that damn hamstring injury. They should have. That would have been an easy championship because they would have played LeBron and they got swept 4-0 in that series.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do not want to face Golden State. I think I'd rather
Sacramento. It's Golden State,
Kings.
Memphis, Sacramento, or Dallas.
Yes, the Kings. Oh, Dallas too. My phone. What did I say?
You said Minnesota, I think. But
Oh,
Minnesota's the 6th seed.
Oh, okay, then they made it. Oh, my mistake. Man, I think I'd rather play Dallas. I'd rather play definitely Dallas for sure. I'd rather play the Kings. And then what was the other one again?
Memphis or
Oh,
Sacramento.
Memphis too. Memphis, they're almost undefeated against Memphis. They were 3-1 this year against them. I just Golden State. They got veterans. It's playoff time, and when it's that time,
Yeah.
and that's Curry's time. So yeah, I do not want the Rockets.
Makes sense.
You big basketball guy? Come on.
I'd say best matchup wise, I agree with you. Dallas or Sacramento. I think that's ideal what you want.
Yeah, you don't want to hear John Moran with the little grenade and kind of celebration that's been trending on lately. But that is the end of our show. We appreciate everybody sticking around at 11:01 Central Time in Houston, Texas. We appreciate all the love and support. Continue to follow us on our social media platforms. On Twitter, of course, we're on there. FSA Full Steam Ahead on Instagram. I got a burp. TikTok, Full Steam Ahead as well. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, what are you doing? Make sure you go hit that bell, then you don't miss the videos. But please like and subscribe. And if you want to leave a comment, we appreciate that. And like I mentioned in the beginning of the show, that we'll have that Mauricio Dubon interview with the Torpedo Bat, his thoughts, all that type of stuff on our YouTube channel shortly. But of course, if you don't want to see our beautiful faces, you can hear our beautiful voices on the road. If you're going to work through that hell of 45 and 59 and 610, I-10, 288, 225, all that hell of Houston traffic in the morning. God, you got to love it. But yeah, if you don't want to look at our beautiful faces, want to hear our voices, we are on Spotify. We are on Apple Podcasts. Wherever you get your podcasts, make sure you like, rate, and review. And give us some comments, give us some feedback. We really appreciate the support. Cantu, you got anything else before we sign off on this beautiful Sunday night heading into the work week?
No, just thank you for listening and thank you for staying with us. I know I think this is one of our longest podcasts yet, almost an hour and 20 minutes. But we appreciate, for y'all lending your ears to us and all your support and everything.
I think it comes with the treat, though. We have these videos with the guys after the game, during the game, some of the interviews like I mentioned. You don't want to miss none of this stuff. We're the only podcast, I would say, that gives you the behind the scenes, the work with these players, the interviews with these guys. We're out there, man. I think we do a really good job covering the Astros and, of course, our other job that we have to do. But till then, Y'all have a great start to y'all work week. Make sure you have a great one. Beautiful smile in the morning whenever you take the kids or you're going to that 9 to 5 job. Always have that smile on your face. But until then, we'll see y'all later. We'll have that recap of the St. Louis series. I'm not sure if we're going to record on Wednesday night or Thursday night to be announced. We'll let y'all know because we got to get you ready for that series against the San Diego Padres of Manny Machado. For now, Tatis Jr., Luis Ariz. That's some star-studded power and contact in that team. And as of right now, they're what, first or second place in the NL West. So,
yeah, I know they're hot. Let me check real quick before
you can check real quick, but yeah, we'll give you the recap. Get that preview.
First place, 13-3.
Yeah, 13-3. Look at that. So if you're in Houston, you better go to that game.
With they're 10-0 at home, 3-3 on the road, and they have a 30-run differential.
Yeah, the Astros don't have a 30-run differential, but some of the promotions too they're giving away in that Josh Hader bobblehead, which I think that's pretty cool because he did come from San Diego. Have that coming out, and then of course the Altuve socks. How can people forget about that? He took off his sock in San Diego and had to argue about that call. But them are some of the promotions. We'll talk about that later on the other show. Till then, y'all have a good start to y'all week, and we'll talk to y'all soon.
Peace.